But I don't even know if it was 40 days and nights. So, my Bible knowledge is starting to wane, thank goodness. One of the big things you came out with in this, and I think this book is going to encourage a lot of other people to trust what they get from Spirit too, is you learned how vital it is to follow your intuition and your knowing.
Absolutely. My life was changed more than anything by precisely that. I decided in this period that if my mind, my head, was in conflict with my intuitive feeling, my intuitive knowing of what I needed to do or needed to say, etc., then I was always going to go with my intuition. I decided that in this period, and I've kept with it ever since. And it's been the guiding light, really, the guiding energy, the guiding, intuition.
Right.
Because so many times, of course, when your intuition is, because again, it's funny how we're talking here, and as we go through apparently different things, they connect into all the things we've said earlier. Intuition connects us into the source to see level of awareness, whereas our mind is the conscious mind sees the next turn on the river. So because the intuitive knowing is coming from a level that can see the journey, it is going to have a completely different, often completely different, doesn't have to be, view of what to do and how to behave and act in and respond in a certain situation to the conscious mind.
Right.
The conscious mind's going to be going, you can't do that. What will people say? You've got a job. You can't just drop your job and go and do it. No, you can't do that. You can't go there tomorrow. You've got an appointment here and all this stuff. And it operates on that level. And it can get so dominant in people's perception of how they should behave and what they should do that basically the mind, the computer level, is running the show and running their lives. And the vast majority of people in the world are like that, but
right.
It's changing.
Uh-huh.
Once you go with your intuition, it's going to, it's coming from, in terms of its decision making, a completely different level of perception and awareness of your journey. And therefore, it may seem that your intuition is telling you to do something crazy or something ridiculous. I can't do that. Why should I do that? But when you make that decision, as I did nearly 20 years ago, when that conflict comes in, the head and the heart, you might call it, I'm going to go with the heart. I'm going to go with the intuition. What happens is, of course, it's coming from a different level of awareness. Therefore, you're going to get yourself in mind perspective terms into situations that are unusual, challenging. Like me, you're going to get massively ridiculed and all the rest of it may be. But in the end, as the mind, if you keep going with it and keep going with it, as the mind observes what happens when you follow your intuition, it sees that initially it might get you into a scrape, initially it might get you into experience that you'd rather not have, but eventually it all works out. And it all works out not despite the fact that you followed your intuition and had these challenging experiences, but because you followed your intuition and had these challenging experiences. That's what got you to this place where you want to be, and it's all worked out right. And the mind then, in my own personal experience anyway, observes this and says, well, hold on a second, it works out in the end when you follow your intuition. And what happened to me anyway, and what happens to anybody who follows this, is the mind, your head, and your intuitive heart knowing start to speak the same language. The war stops. I cannot remember the last time that my intuition and my mind, my head, were not speaking the same language. And, it's like, instead of when the war's going on and the conflict between mind and heart is going on, where your intuition says do this and your mind's going, you can't do that, well, all that stuff I talked about.
Right.
What happens then is your intuition says, I need to do this, I know it, and your mind goes, okay, I'm with you, let's go. And it's a completely different way of living your life, and it's a tremendous freedom when that war stops between the conscious mind and the open heart.
Absolutely, and don't you find that it's also a grand adventure, not having to live kind of in this flatlined experience that everyone else sees, to actually be outside the matrix and enjoy, you know, a 10-dimensional, a 100-dimensional existence instead of a 3-dimensional?
Yeah, I mean, if I get up in the morning and or at the start of a week and I can tell you all the things that I'm going to be doing that week, then that's a disappointing week for me. Of course, you have to have certain points, like Meria's ringing, so I've got to be here, and we'll do an interview and all that stuff. Or I'm speaking in this, so I've got to be here for that. Yet all those things, of course, they have to be done in the world that we live in, or nothing actually gets done. But I love it when in between all that, you just get up in the morning and you think, I don't know what's going to happen by the end of the day. I don't even know where I'm going to be by the end of the day. I mean, that is a wonderful, wonderful day for me. So when I'm traveling, and like when I go to see Credo over the next couple of weeks or so, you get up in the morning and you're in that adventure mode. You're in that adventure situation where you literally don't know what's going to happen in the next hour, never mind where you're going to be or what you're going to be doing by the end of the day. And that to me is, when you're flowing with that adventure level of wonder,
right?
That to me is the most special place that I can be in this reality anyway.
Absolutely. You know, yeah, because I do the show and I do lectures and whatever, you know, when I look at my calendar and I see that I have things specifically scheduled, you know, I kind of get bummed out a little bit for a second, because I really like having the freedom to just let life happen. You know, the days happen and be open to it. But for my listeners who don't have the travel experience or opportunity of David, what David is talking about, you can experience on a trip to the mall. And that's kind of interesting, because I was with one of my friends last night, David. We went to dinner, and then we went to the mall. And we just had fun, you know, going into some of the gag shops and looking at stuff and, you know, trying on wigs, crazy stuff. And what was interesting is at the end of the night, he said to me, did you see this person, and did you notice the waiter that had this and that? And I looked at him, and I had to actually honestly say, I didn't see anybody. I was fully in what we were doing. You know, I didn't really see anybody else in the mall. I didn't see anybody else in the restaurant. I was so in the moment, which is something that you understand, that I just had pure pleasure. It wasn't like I had to notice anyone else in the Matrix. You know, everybody was in the girl in the red dress. Everybody was the girl in the red dress.
Well, it's funny because I've been like that much of my life, even before this experience. You know, I would often, and still people can say it to me today, they say, why did you ignore me? I said hello to you the other day when I passed you in the street. Right. Never saw him, never heard him, because you know, you can go into these deep levels of awareness, or whatever you want to call it, where literally this world doesn't exist except at the level of functioning, so you don't walk into the lamppost.
Exactly.
And,
I do that all the time.
Myself in those modes more and more, actually.
I do that all the time, so it's nice to know I'm not the only one, because I can't recall. I don't really see these people. You know, for me, I'm really just moving my avatar through the Matrix, having a good time. So, you know, I used to think there was something wrong with me, but now I say, wow, that's something really right with me. So when we teach people, and I'm sure you do too, to be fully present to what you do, it really is like giving yourself a present by being present.
Yeah, my son, my younger son, Jamie, I mean, he's like that too. It's like, Jamie, no response. Jamie, no response. Jamie, yeah, what?
He's out there.
I don't know where he goes, but he goes somewhere far away, that's for sure.
Well, you know, I've always noticed that with my son too. Sometimes I'm a little jealous. I'm like, wow, where are you? Take me too. Well, David, I want to wish you great luck and success and fun on your trip. And, you know, I know we're scheduled for next month when you get back.
Yep.
And I can't wait to hear your new experiences, because I know they're going to be awesome. I already
we can talk about what happens in South Africa. The prime reason I'm going is to get down onto on camera, which we can then transfer into books as well. As much knowledge as Credo Motwa wants to put down, because, you know, he's in his 80s now. He's been saying this for years, Mr. David, I haven't got long left. And I say, you know, you'll be all right. I haven't got long left. I'm going to be around. And then years later, he still is. But, you know, you don't go on in this reality indefinitely.
Thank God.
And what he wants to do is get as much of his knowledge down and so it's preserved for forever, for posterity.
Absolutely. It's an excellent
that's
idea.
the reason. But you're right. There's going to be a lot of other things as well as that are going to go on.
Well, I know there'll be quite a few gifts and surprises for you, so I'll be anxiously. Well, I guess you won't be available through email, but I'll be waiting.
I'm way out in the wilds, and I might be able to get on the internet a couple of times, 2 or 3 times a week, maybe, but
right.
not much.
Well,
which is actually going to be nice, experience really.
To unhook is a wonderful thing. Well, maybe you can just send me some messages telepathically. I'm sure I can tune into that vibe.
It'll be interesting, and we'll have a chat next time we talk.
Oh, absolutely. Well, you take good care, and we'll talk soon.
Okay. Thanks, Meria.
Thank you, David.
Bye.
Bye. David Icke, his latest book, Human Race, Get Off Your Knees, The Lion Sleeps No More. So it's a show that started out with, the typical human BS that we all have to muddle through to be here. I guess that's what makes the game so exciting. I've got something exciting like that going on in my life, too, and trust me, I'll make it way more exciting for the person I'm taking a cart. And then we got into how much fun it is, and really what a Kundalini experience is like. Trust me, you're going to know if it happens to you. It's not something your guru or teacher is going to be able to wave a wand over your head and bingo, there it is. Anyway, hopefully I'll have my video of my speech on how to detect psychic frauds and frauds in general up online in the next week or so. So that's going to be a lot of fun for you guys to watch because I was pretty hilarious. Remember, say it with humor. People can get it. Thanks for listening, supporting the show. See you guys next time.